Hi everybody, this is Kimberly from Starfish Design Embroidery. I hope everybody's doing well amongst this crazy corona worry and outbreak that we got going on. I'm here to show you something a little different tonight. I admit I didn't totally get this idea on my own. I did see a similar item in the leather works and set for sale, and I was like, oh, this is a great idea. I don't have the fob I'm working on. I've been working on this idea for a couple of weeks on an alternative to using the hardware for making the key fob clasp, and also I'm working on a key fob holder that's not a wristlet. It's just a nice holder with a double edge with a valet key. So I'm working on that. So while I'm working on that, I had this idea. Kind of borrowed it a little bit from a leather works idea, and it's like, oh, that might work for what I'm trying to do. So I gave it a little trial and it worked. So I'm not boring you with the stitch out. This is traditional embroidery stitch out. You guys can do it. Really, a regular wristlet stitch out, just like a snap tab. So, and forgive my poor applique trimming here. I tried to do a 3 sizes and 1 multi-looping, and I don't know what my embroidery machine did. It like went all wonky and whatever. So I'm just gonna deal with it. So on this one here, it's riveted in, so it doesn't come undone. You probably could get those double-sided cam snaps. This is a little too thick because I used this thick felt on the inside, so it was a little hard. But you can see here I used a lobster clasp, and then I put a split ring on it, so you can do that. The other thing is, if you have a wider lobster clasp, I only have 3/4 inch ones, but if you had the 1/4 or the 1 inch ones, you could actually put a lobster clasp on the end and have it hang in freely to hook onto your purse or anything, and then do your split ring or D-ring. We're going to do a D-ring for one of these and a split ring for the other. And I had a split ring sitting here, and now I don't see it. Right before I started this, everything went kaput. I spilled a whole bunch of stuff on the floor. So let me grab another D-ring. I'm sorry, I keep saying D-ring, lobster clasp. So I'm going to show you how to do this using a hole punch, a rotary hole punch that I got from Hobby Lobby. You can get it at Joann's, Amazon, and actually even hardware stores usually. And then I'm going to be using my tabletop press with my die, rivet die set in it. So, but I wanted to show you, if you buy this multi-pack from Amazon, and I'll put the link below, or you can actually get one from almost, anywhere. When you buy the set, it comes with the equipment, so you don't need this fancy work. So this came with a variety of sizes. So you'll see on one side there's a smaller hole and depression, and on the other it's bigger for the different size caps. This is a hole punch. You see it has the little thing in there. So all you would do is you would take your material, fly it all over the place. You would need to get a hammer. So you take your material and you put it inside here, bang it with a hammer. And then when you go to put your caps on, you would use not this piece, you would use this piece that comes with it. You'll see that there's a flat end and a rounded end for the cap to fit into. And so you would put the cap end here. I'll show you when we put it on, and then hammer it. So you don't need to get fancy equipment. It comes with it. Most of the die sets I was looking at on Amazon came with it. So I am going to use these dies though. I don't really want that so close to my, let's see, are these the same size? I think they are. And they come in different lengths. So you can see here, I'm going to be going through a lot of layers, so I can't use this shorter one. But you can see how they come in different lengths and how far. We're going through a lot of layers, so we need to make sure we're using this longer one. So I'm going to get those set. I'm going to close this so they don't get hammered all over the table. I don't have rivets all over. This little thing here. I don't know how this was in here before. It was in that little bag. I guess it must have been like this. Yeah, there we go. There we go. Okay, so we got our rivets ready. So I was talking to one of my testers, and she was like, I don't know if oh, here's the Lobster Clasp. I already had it. I don't know if I have enough hand strength to even do that, because this is going to go through all these layers. So I made these so that they'll fit right over this. And you want to leave a little bit of room so that this has room to move as you fold it over. If you want, if you leave I cut this too short, but if you leave this longer, like I did on the back, you can round off those corners if you don't like them looking up at you. So I'm going to give you two different styles, the rounded one and a squared off one. So we're going to do the rounded one here. So you want to just make sure you have enough wiggle room here as you layer that in there. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to go ahead and hole punch this all through on one punch. So what I recommend that you do before you even do this piece is line up your hand strap, your wristlet strap, and clip it down out of your working area just to hold it together so it's keeping nice and straight. So you don't have to worry about this going wonky. Then what you can also do, and I just lost my glue. I put Fabri-Tac glue on the perimeter of this just from, let me get a pointing device here. Where's this out? Just from here on over to here. And then that'll adhere it to this. But of course, when you need it, you can't find my Fabri-Tac, and that's more concerning because that thing was open. So it must have fallen on the floor somewhere. But you can use any kind of glue you have that is going to be permanent. Okay, so then what I'm going to do is I'm going to put my hardware through here, and I'm going to go ahead and position this to where I want it so it's nice and neat, and I have that good room movement. And I'm going to use another one of these clips, and it's really hard because this is really thick. I'm going to come in at the bottom so it's out of my way from the hole punch, and I'm going to go ahead and hold that in place, and I'm going to go ahead and do my hole punch. So you can come in from the other side where the clip's not in your way, but just try and center it. And I center it more towards the bottom of the round and just eyeball it and then push through. And it's not that hard on mine at all. So now go ahead, and while you have this all clipped together, you see it made the hole, push your long piece through to the other side, and then you put the cap on it. That's why these are called double cap rivets. And you'll hear it makes a tiny little snapping sound. Did you hear that? But that's not solid, so we still need to go ahead and crimp it. So now this is when you would get out your little press that I just put away. Okay, so we made our hole. We would have made our hole. We would get out our little press, put the rounded edge over this, get the big cap because that's what we're on, and hammer it. And then I'll hammer it together. But since I have the die set from my cam snap press, I had to use this professional one or the tabletop one because I couldn't, this was too thick to go in the hand one. So you just line this up and press it. So beware, it is really thick, so you might have to use that hand version if your pliers are not thick enough for it. And I pressed it too far. See, it made a depression there. That's too far, but now you have it. And then you can hook on a split ring here if you want. So this was the 5x7, and so this is more like a little hand strap because it won't fit all the way, or at least not on my wrist. But again, you have that flexibility. You can leave this longer. You have almost an inch here that this will cover up, and you can leave it longer. And that was my intention, but I messed it up my machine messed it up. Okay, so we're going to move on and do alternate version 2. This one I saved some thread, and this vinyl is so pretty I didn't see the sense in wasting it. So I did keep a little bit extra at the top. And this is a longer one. I think this is the 7x11. So then I made ignore the back. I made the rectangular one. And this time I'm going to show you what to do in case you don't have enough arm strength in your arms to get through all that. So we're going to do the same thing. So we're going to line this up. I'm going to put our clips on it to hold it together, so it's nice and straight. And if I got out of camera angle at all for you guys, I'm sorry. It's hard to see from this position. So now what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and, we're going to go ahead and find our center here. And I didn't put a centering mark because depending on how thick your material is, you might have yours be all the way down here, and if I put the centering mark here, it's not going to look right, or you might need to bring your rivet down closer to the seam depending on how thick it is. So I didn't put a centering mark for you guys, but I can tell on this one I'm going to have enough room, so I'm going to just center it about closer to the bottom than to the top. So I'm going to make one hole with my hole puncher, and again I'm eyeballing it. Make sure it is centered over the center from a vertical standpoint. Okay, so I got the one hole in there, right? Let me push that little thing out of the way so you can see it. Okay, so now I'm going to go ahead and use this, and I'm going to use a D-ring this time. Just bend this a little bit to get it in there. And then we want to position this to make sure we have that room that we need for the hardware to have some flexibility here at the top. So that's what I did. So now I'm going to go ahead and use my awl, and I'm going to mark through a hole punch on my vinyl. So now I can punch it here, and I can even do one layer at a time. So if I want, I can go ahead and punch this. And if I still don't have enough hand strength, then I can go ahead and use my awl and mark the next hole. Or you can use a pen. And then I'll use my hole punch again. And then we want to go ahead and line this bottom up here. Mark our little hole. And there's our, oh, you can't really see it on there. There's our little hole. Let's try that again. I'm going to push it all the way through. When you use the awl, the key to get in a good hole is don't just poke it, push it so the shaft goes through it, and you'll get a really nice hole. I know you can see that. And now I'm going to go ahead and push through there, make my last hole. All right, so now I have all the holes, and I didn't have to try and punch through a real heavy thing. So now take your little rivet and work it through the holes. So you can do one layer at a time if you need to. And you see, because I left that top unstitched, it comes apart a little bit. There we go. And now go ahead and flip this over to the back. Move these little crumbs out of the way if you need to. Fit that one through. And do one more look and make sure everything looks good. Put your little cap on it. And then go ahead and use your rivet press and your die or your hammer die set and secure it. So now this is a nice long wristlet that will go through my entire arm. And now you don't have to worry about having those metal key fob things. I've been really hesitant because I've got them from a lot of sources And I've read some horror stories about the I don't have one handy right now, the welding coming on them, off on them too. So this just gives you another alternative, and it gives you another opportunity to add a little bit more texture to your key fob and give it some more look. And see, this mine's off kilter. I don't know what happened with that when I put it on there, but you can use this and then add a split ring to it like I did on this one. You can use the Lobster Clasp in here. So I made this so it'll accommodate 3/4 inch hardware. And I think I might actually give you guys a longer tab like this, but it's a little longer even, that you could maybe put an initial at the top. I don't know, we'll see. But yeah, so just a cute little alternative to the wristlet straps. And you'll see the wider one. Where's the other round one at? Guys, what did I just do with that? Oh, I just had it sitting here. I just finished it. What did I do? I must have dropped it on the floor. How did I just, oh, here it is. Oh, I'm losing my mind. So I tried to make it in proportion to the key fob. So you'll do a better job trimming yours than I did. So this little round thing is in proportion to the key fob, and needed to be big enough for the rivet as well. So this is the 1 inch and this is the 1 1/4 inch. You wouldn't think 1/4 inch makes that much difference, but it really does. Look at the difference in those sizes. So, and this is the one I added the split ring on here. So there we go. Hope you guys like this. Now the file comes with 5x7, 6x10, 7x11, and 8x12 of the 1 inch and the 1 1/2 or 1 1/4 inch. And I skipped the satin stitching on this one, but you can see the close-up of the satin stitching on this. It's my traditional satin stitching with the texture on it. And of course, these little add-ons would work with the other wristlet strap that I have out there for buttons and for fleur-de-lis. But I'm going to include these add-ons with the plain regular applique key fob straps. And then I made a separate list or separate file for you if you only want to make these because you already have your favorite wristlet strap from some other designer, but you like the idea of doing this. I put these in a 4x4 by themselves, so you can do that as well. So I think I am going to give you another one that's a little bit longer on this one. So you'll have 3 options. Excuse me. Excuse me. Anyway, that's all. Just a quick video. Well, it was supposed to be quick. I don't know how quick it was. Quick video to show you how to do that. Because it's not really something I can do a picture of. It's hard, you know, it's like, how do I do this in a picture? So that's what the video is for. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.